So, can you tell me your initial thoughts and reaction after hearing about the tragic measles death in Texas?
Oh, I am so sad for this child that had to suffer with measles unnecessarily. I'm so sad for the family and the entire community that is mourning right now. And this is a vaccine preventable illness, and it is heartbreaking for a pediatrician, for any of us to hear about this.
I don't know if you've heard about this, but there is a confirmed outbreak of whooping cough in Ellensburg, another vaccine preventable disease. I was wondering if there's any connections that you can make between the measles outbreak and the Ellensburg whooping cough.
I believe there have been pertussis or whooping cough outbreaks popping up all over our state, and it reflects lower immunization rates. It also reflects a vaccine that wears off more quickly. With the measles vaccine in particular, two dose gives you about 97% immunity for your entire life. So you need to get repeated doses of the pertussis vaccine. So please get that at kindergarten time and get it again when your children are 11 years old.
Uh, for these outbreaks across the state, is there anything that you can do that can help aid the state or even county health departments in treating these outbreaks?
I think right now, from my position as a pediatrician in Congress, talking with you, because then you convey this to the community about the fact that vaccines are proven time and again to be safe and effective and a way to prevent terrible and tragic diseases. These are one of the most important medical advances in the last 100 years. And the way to protect our children is simply to get them vaccinated. I want people to understand that there are people like RFK Jr., now our Secretary of Health and Human Services, who actually profit off of spreading disinformation and lies about vaccines. And there's a direct line between that misinformation or disinformation and the tragedy that we are seeing in Texas and New Mexico today.
Uh, well, reading about national news, it seems like depending on what side of the aisle you're on, either everything's going great or the sky is falling. So I would like to ask you, what do you think that everything's going great, or the sky is falling, or is there another way to describe everything happening across the nation?
I think what we're seeing in our country right now is outrageous and illegal and undemocratic. And I will tell you that this is actually not necessarily a partisan issue. In fact, I talk with my Republican friends, and what they say to me is that they are worried, they are panicked, they can't believe what's going on. They are hearing from their constituents, even in deep red areas, that they are worried. We all need to be concerned when an unelected billionaire is put in charge of trimming down the federal government and does it in a reckless way such that it is impacting every one of our lives, even if you don't know yet how it is affecting you.
Yeah, speaking of all the federal cuts, can you tell me how it's affecting your district and how you might be planning to either slow or stop or just do something about all these layoffs?
Well, we were in committee until 11:30 last night, over and over again, holding my colleagues responsible for the cuts that they are about to make to important services like Medicaid. In my committee in particular, they are charged with cutting almost $1 trillion from Medicaid, which takes care of seniors in nursing homes. It takes care of nearly half the children in this country, nearly half the pregnancies in this country of disabled people, and it keeps rural hospitals alive. They want to cut that program in order to fund a gigantic tax cut for the wealthiest and for corporations in this country. Uh, I am calling attention to all of this. Even locally, there were cuts to the Forest Service. The Forest Service is responsible for keeping our federal public lands safe. They're also responsible for thinning the forests that are subject to catastrophic wildfire. They are also responsible for taking that timber that they're bringing out of the national forest, getting them to our timber industry for the wood we need to build houses. And if you think about all of those things, if we start buying our wood from Canada, potentially at a 25% markup from tariffs, our housing is only going to get more expensive, and it's already outrageously expensive. I want people to understand these connections to their lives and their neighborhoods.
You did mention that you were holding people responsible. How are you doing that? Is that just speaking in front of Congress, or do you have other ways to hold people responsible as well?
Oh, well, last night again, we were there till 11:30 at night. Our Republican colleagues voted for a budget package that will cut Medicaid, which matters to nearly every family in this country, and north of 80% of the people in this country, whether they are Democrats or Republicans, think it is a terrible idea to uh, to gouge and take away from a healthcare system that is one of the leanest in the country in order to give tax breaks to the wealthiest in this country.
Uh, so is making your Republican colleagues stay up a little bit past the time they usually go home? Is that really the only other way that you're holding them responsible, or is there anything else that you have in your toolbox?
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, we have a multi-pronged approach. And I want to emphasize there's really three C's here. So there's Congress, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but there's also the courts that are calling out all of these illegal moves, and the courts are part of our checks and balances right now, and I'm very grateful there. I will say the community has a huge role, and we are seeing uprisings at town halls right now with people in deep red districts holding their representatives accountable and saying, wait a minute, you went to Congress to represent me and my best interests, and look what you are doing for the billionaires and the biggest corporations, and you're taking my Medicaid away. And then from my standpoint, well, I'm talking with you, so thank you to journalists like you for making sure people understand this. But I am also hounding the White House. I am on their case, and I am raising this issue every day to make sure that I protect and look after the people I represent. You are muted.
All right. I know it. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I know I only have 10 minutes with you, and I want to respect your time. Is there anything that I missed that you would like to say to any of your constituents or people in your district?
Well, for my constituents, I want you to know that I am fighting for you and your best interests every day. For my constituents and all the people in this country, I want to remind you that you have a voice. You have an important voice. I want you to share your stories with my office. I want you to share your stories about how this is personally impacting you with your friends. Put it on social media. Call your member of Congress. You have a voice, and it matters.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, and you too.